We all have a story to tell. What can you learn from other people's life experiences, both winning and learning? See, in sports, you win and you lose when the scoreboard hits 0. But in life, the clock is always ticking. So you might as well learn. Winning and learning, never losing. There's a recipe for success, and there's a recipe for repeating.
There's a lot of truth to that. I mean, especially in how you bring it back to being a parent. So I have high functioning anxiety, right? My daughter at 5 years old, the same, okay? But I know now, when I was a kid, we didn't talk about that. Like, it wasn't anything, I don't even think my parents even realized.
We'll be able to contribute. I want to talk about the process of life. I want to talk about life experiences. I want to talk about trusting the process. So I just want to do my part and give back to the community, give back to the youth, and hopefully it touches somebody's lives and motivates them. And that's really what it's all about. What's up, guys, man? Coach here, the real estate coach. Welcome back to Chalk Talk, the open playbook of life. Oh, man, season 2. That's what we're going to call this. Season 2, episode 1. We've had a few weeks off. So let me get into my intro. I want to thank Alternative Solar, our sponsor, for allowing us to use the venue. We had Eric on, so he's a great guy. If you're looking for solar, please reach out to Eric. To my right, Coach Serta.
Good morning.
Certified Fit.
Yeah, good morning.
How you been doing?
Busy.
That's a good thing.
It's a great
What you been up to?
Meal prep, insurance, training. Got a few other things in the works that I'm excited about.
So you're just going to drop the insurance there, huh? Go ahead and plug it, girl. Plug it. Just go ahead, plug it. Yeah, but what insurance? Like
life insurance.
Okay,
life insurance. Everybody needs life insurance. You have life insurance?
I do.
Oh, I know you do.
Yeah, Bailey got it for me.
Yeah, okay.
I believe your parents got it for you.
Dang it.
But you're right, you do have life insurance.
No, I do have. My mom got
That's
my mama got me a policy when I was very young.
You should be, and that's a smart thing to do. You'd be surprised at how many people don't at our age, right?
Yeah. So we're gonna talk about that.
Yeah, of course.
Coach, Mr. Self-Made himself, Robert Bailey over here to my left. How you been?
Good, man. Good. Just grinding. Figuring some things out. Going through some changes, but positive changes for sure.
Oh, always. Any changes, can be reflected as positive, I think. Yesterday was Jules' birthday.
Her birthday party was yesterday.
Okay.
Her actual birthday was on Friday, so, man, that was from 7:30 in the morning to about 6:30 at night. It was just drenched in sweat all day long. Yard work, setting up the party.
Oh, man.
Running around, running errands. As soon as you get out the truck, sweating.
Man, you're a good parent.
That's a life lesson in itself. Sometimes
just book
pre
Peter
and post.
Peter Piper.
Hey, I'm doing Corona parties forever. Corona drive parties.
Corona drive-by parties.
I was thinking like
forever.
Coronavirus parties. Okay.
That's not a bad idea, right?
Forever,
drive-through parties.
Hey, we're doing Corona-style drive-by parties.
We just want to be safe, but we're out the pandemic.
Just keep it pushing.
Just keep it. We don't want to start another one. We don't want to start another one.
Go with it.
Well, I wasn't able to make it, so I consider that like one of my little nieces. I just self-proclaimed uncle, but I got the invite the day before. So, according to Bailey, I'm gonna throw Bailey. This is fair or foul. I'm gonna throw Bailey under the bus. I said, "Hey man, what's up with this invite the day before?" He said, "Mo was in charge of the party."
She was 100%.
No.
In all honesty, she kept going back and forth. She had family, she had friends, blah blah blah, and I'm like, do whatever you want, because it's technically we're still within the pandemic or whatever. So we're all vaccinated, but she didn't know how people are going to be comfortable or not or whatever. So we had people back out the last minute just say, hey, we don't feel comfortable.
That's really interesting because, man, the photo booth business. We have a photo booth business, right? And people are just.
Yeah.
Hey, masks are not a thing anymore.
Right? Like, how quickly that left, right? I seen boat party. I'm seeing all kinds of stuff on Snapchat. Like, so I'm like, I guess we done. Like,
well, I went to that event yesterday and
really
nobody.
Well, to each his own. Like I said, I got my vaccine, so
I do too. But
still waiting for that third leg to grow. Maybe it'll grow me a better knee on the other one.
I don't. Yeah, that
might be a while.
Yeah, a new knee. Like, hopefully that new, but
hey, I heard if you got the vaccination, you put like a magnet next to your arm, and that's supposed to be like a nano chip or something like that.
Oh man, they're tracking me.
I know you're on TikTok. I heard that's what it's on. So
no.
I wouldn't doubt it. She knows
it is what it is, right?
I don't try to get into the politics or the conspiracy thing, but like they been had you, bro.
That's true.
They been had you.
I heard that it was like something about like making people sterile too.
Oh,
like a way to like
perfect.
Right. To like eliminate population.
I still want one. But anyway, so everybody's good then. Don't forget about my guy behind the camera.
At Work Grinding Never Stops, and I'm feeling that shirt, buddy.
It never stops.
Never stops. I like it. Is that a flamingo? Sure.
I want to shout out Elliot because we got these new mics. We have a whole new sound system.
Next week we're doing karaoke. I'm just kidding. We're not.
Yeah, no, we're not.
Mimosas and karaoke.
Try Jesus.
Hey, I kind of like that. Mimosas and karaoke. Shoot.
Well, but no, I really want to shout you out, young man. He sees a vision. I think not only for the show, but I mean for himself, and I think he's mentioned a couple times being motivated by it. So, hey, if that's the one person we helping, I'm cool with it. So, I myself have been traveling a little bit. We've taken a few weeks off.
I see.
I was at Big Bend, and I really want to kind of just dive into that and kind of. I was up there in the mountains. Thank God there was a pool, so that was good. The place we went to was beautiful. But it was like probably one of the first times I've ever seen, I think, nature in that aspect. I've never really kind of traveled before. Seen some places, I've seen mountains and stuff. I've been to Mexico and they're there, but it was just it was a road trip. About 6.5 hours, I think.
Where is it? So West Texas?
Well, it's like dang near the border of Mexico, and
like near El Paso. That far?
Like going Del Rio out there. I mean, we were I can't remember all the little cities we were at, but there was a whole bunch of state troopers and there was a whole bunch of border patrol. Boy, it was a little stressed at one point. I was like, I thought I was coming out here to chill, and nah, man. I mean, we must have seen at least 50 state troopers one way, 50 state troopers back.
It's like a hot spot, though, I'm sure.
The check with the dogs. Yeah, I mean, it was crazy. So, but I kind of labeled my trip. I learned a lot about a lot. And I shout out to my best friend. It was her birthday, Janelle, and we went out there with her family and my cousin. And, oh, man, it was just it was quite an experience. And I learned some stuff up there. And one of the things that I learned, probably one of the experience I had was the ATVs. You ever been on an ATV? You have? Where?
Yeah. In San Marcos, they used to have like this little trail you could go on.
Okay.
They're kind of scary, I'll be honest with you.
You think
you
so?
You have to like have your weight shifted a certain way, and I felt like I felt like I was gonna fall off the whole time.
So we're doing that in the mountains, and it's like I mean,
sharp inclines,
sharp declines,
and big tree fall hard, bro.
Rocks.
Like,
Thank God I did not fall. Thank God I did not fall. But I was like really, and I wanted to talk about some tunnel vision and just some vision and things that I really had a lot of thoughts out there, and I was excited to get back to the show because I think there's just some life lessons in what I learned throughout there, and I really want y'all to help me with this. But when I get the tunnel vision, when I start thinking about all the bumps in the road, when we started driving, because we're all fairly old, maybe Ellie doesn't know about it. When we started driving,
fairly old.
You ever notice how this
seasoned?
Yeah, yes, a little pepper. I got a little pepper, more pepper. When you drive and you get off course, what kind of either wakes you up or steers you back on course?
The bumps on the side.
Those little ridges, right?
Yeah.
Well, growing up, we didn't have those. I don't remember those at all, like when I first learned to drive. Do you?
Now that you mentioned that, I don't.
Well,
I can't remember.
I'm younger than y'all, so yeah, we had those. I started driving in like 2003.
Okay. They probably
did.
Yeah,
how old are you, Bailey?
How old do I look?
Oh my God.
I'm 34. I'm 34.
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe.
I mean, we're 40, so okay. So let's think about that. 6 years. We grew up in different experiences. Just right off the bat, the lesson in that is we grew up in different experiences, right? And I think it's now, but check this out. They first started putting them on just the outside lanes, right? Like if you're swerving off the road, now they have them in the middle lane. So when you have traffic coming both ways, now it's now in the middle lane. And so if you get too far to literally going the opposite your way, you hit the bumps, and you know. So I guess the goal of it is if you're sleeping, falling asleep, to kind of wake you up, right? So I just thought that was very interesting. I was just, it's a 6.5 hour drive. I'm thinking about life, and I'm like, man, there's these bumps in the road that keep you back. The ridges, so to speak. You run off the road, you lose sight of your goal, you lose sight of some, and I'll be the first to say I've lost sight of my fitness goals, big time. She's on me every week, right? Like, and I need to get back to it. But you're driving down the road of life, and then you may swerve off, you may fall asleep at the wheel, you may lose sight of your goal, and then you hit these bumps, right? And sometimes it's good, and sometimes it's bad, and it gets you back onto the road. Or it wakes you back up.
Right.
And I just think that is so important. I'm like, man, this is clever. This is smart, and just an analogy of life in it because, again, growing up, I didn't have that. It was like, you were swerving off the road, you better wake up, you better realize it. I know some people that were in some big-time car accidents that maybe this could have helped them. But just Bailey, touch on that and what you think about that kind of, what's the word, analogy?
I do think it's a good analogy where there's kind of like, it's almost like when you go bowling as a kid, you had the little bumpers or the stoppers. If you can have that safety net at a young age, you can learn the straight path, I guess. If you didn't have those bridges on the road, I guess back in the day when you first started driving, if you did make a mistake, it was probably a really bad mistake. Like, you may not recover from it, but now those bumps are there. It's maybe a smaller mistake. And like you said, it's going to wake you up quicker and get you back on your path. So I do like that. That's an interesting take on that for sure.
Thank you. Sarah, what do you think about that?
I like how you drew up that analogy. Just to kind of touch on that, kind of be the devil's advocate here, though. Okay. So with more like Bailey's, right? So we're used to these bumpers, or we know that these protectors are here on the side. Do you think that sometimes that makes us a little reckless because we know that it's there to catch us, or it's there to stop us, or it's there to, you know what I mean? So,
well, I would say that if you
maybe depends.
It depends on your discipline. Like, have you already learned that lesson to where now you're disciplined enough not to rely on those bumpers or those ridges or whatever they're called? Because if you're not, then you're going to be on the road to destruction or the ditch.
And I think we've kind of touched on it a little bit.
What are our bumpers? We go to the thing is, people need to find bumpers that are gonna be healthy. You know what I mean? Like, like you said, starting off young, it shows you, I like the way it said, like, shows you the straight path so that you know what a straight path is, right? But are your bumpers your friends? Your
family? Now, for me, I think that's my biggest thing. Is just who's in my circle. I have people right now for the first time in my life that are telling me no, right? Like, I don't know. That's not good. That's not smart. That's not. So while they might be painful bumpers, the intent is good. You know what I mean? Their intentions are well. And those are the people that have helped me get further in those last few years than people that I've known for 20 years, So for me, that's my people.
I just thought about something like when you go off the road and say it's like dirt, right? Like, say, so it goes from the bumper and then kind of the pavement ends and then there's dirt. Right, when there's people that are just like dirt, so to speak, like they're not like really in your best interest. The best interest is to stay on the road. The best interest is to stay on that path that's smooth for your vehicle.
The people closest to you should be your most protected.
Yeah.
One's further out.
Yeah.
That's your dirt.
That's good. That's good. The further out, the more dirt it gets. Ooh, we preaching good today.
Well,
it is grimy dirt.
Gutter.
The gutter, right? Because, and those are people, and I don't know if y'all have ever driven, but I just got some new rims and tires.
Ooh.
Yeah, I needed some, and then taking the drive up there, so I got the all-terrain boys. Like,
hey, the all-terrain.
I got a little black on black. Oh, we're a little black on white. I'm not black on black.
White on black.
White on black.
You got the black shoes.
I got the black shoes, but I've noticed the difference in where this tire allows me to go. Mm-hmm. So it's a little wider tread. It's a little wider base. So I kind of looked at it as life. The further along you get, sometimes you got to change tires.
It's true.
Right? Sometimes you got to change tires, and then it's okay to change your model of tire. It's okay to grow and get, you know what, this tire is good, but I want something better. I want something that's a little more stable.
I mean, I didn't necessarily have to be better. It said fit your situation.
Better, yeah.
It's not always better.
Because you're not always going to be all terrain.
I'll be completely discreet. I hit a curb. I hit a curb.
Imagine that.
I hit them all the time because I can't see shit.
I can't see shit either. But I will admit, I'm in real estate. I text and drive a lot. Yeah, I know. And it's like one of those meetings that just hit me. Like, come on, it's another life lesson right here. Sometimes just driving, you think you're good, and this roadblock just bah.
I'm thinking the life lesson is probably not texting. I think that's what the life
voice messages are the
that
best.
Might be the life lesson also, but that's not where I was going, baby. But so I kind of put a little dam in my. I had this big old ball on my tire, so I go to discount, and they're like, hey, you need two vacuum tires because they're kind of old and I drive a lot. I said, well, how the front ones? She's like, well, they're not as bad. They got some life left. I was like, well, I don't really just want to change 2. I might as well change 4. Like, I want a whole fresh new set. Like, I don't want to be playing this game where the 2 back or not, and that's the balance of life, so to speak, right? Yeah. Like, sometimes we're fixing 2 tires. Maybe we're fixing our fitness. Maybe we're fixing our mental health. Maybe we're fixing our job situation. But it's rare that sometimes we're fixing all of them at one time.
Yeah.
I'm preaching good right now. Like, you hear that? Like, it's a balance. It's a balance. And so these new tires, I already hit a curb, and I was like, that ain't nothing.
What curb?
No,
just kidding.
Exactly. What curb?
I don't. Not an excuse to text and drive.
No, we do not.
You change your tires, you still need to pay attention to the road.
Chalk Talk, the Open Playbook of Life, does not support texting and driving. We need a commercial on that, Elliot. We need to make a do not text.
It can wait.
I will be the sponsor. I mean, it can wait, but sometimes deals don't sleep. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sorry. I'm just stuck on.
Yeah, you are stuck on. Like, I'm trying to give life lessons.
Get some new tires and keep hitting curbs. Like, no,
that's not what I mean.
Let's fix the.
But do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I was like, I wanted to change all 4, and I wanted a little upgrade, and I wanted to, let's say, protect myself a little bit more. And I tell you what, going up to Big Bend, and there was some terrain where we were staying at. We had to go up some stuff, and man, it was just so different. Like, I felt more secure in the new rims and tires that I had.
Sure.
And I think if people will get out that comfort zone and really grow, like, my tire is literally wider. I grew. Like, I got a wider base, right? It's going to allow you to go further, go that 6.5-hour drive, go longer, you know what I mean, in the road of life if you, kind of balance yourself. So, man, and the other thing when we're on ATV is I'm in the middle of these beautiful mountains, man. Like, I need to go to Grand Canyon. The whole joke over there, I was like, I was born in Arizona, but I've never seen the Grand Canyon, right? Like, I've never seen it. My dad was in the Marines, moved back, but I'm in the middle of all these mountains, and all I'm focused on is this road and this ATV. And it's like I was literally having 2 life experiences, like, straight beautiful nature, but yet I'm only focused on this dirt road. I'm not even seeing the beauty that I'm in. And there's a couple times that I just stopped, and I was just like, and everyone got ahead of me, but I was the back. Like, I was what is that?
You're the caboose.
I was a caboose eating everybody's dust, literally. Like, oh my God, I was eating everywhere. I'm like, half the ride, my eyes are tearing, and I'm just like, God, and because the shield is so old, like, it's like that's you can't see as good with it. But I've ridden an ATV before, and my best friend and her sister, obviously the guide was in front, Steven and myself. And my best friend and her sister, they were like super timid at first, like. And me and Steven are just like, you can see videos. Me and Steven are like, and it was crazy. Like, it was two different perspectives. Like, me and Steven were comfortable on it, and they weren't. And so there's another lesson right there that I was just watching in front of my eyes. Like, Lee, Janelle's sister, there was like this literally valley in the mountain. And to me, I was like, why we stopped? And she was having, she was scared to go down the valley.
Yeah, for sure.
People are scared to go down that valley. But some people's valleys are not as deep. You know what I'm saying? That valley right there in front of me wasn't scary. To her, like, she literally had to get off, sip some water, calm her nerves, and then it got to the point where I went in front of her slowly. She had to see somebody else go through it and see how somebody else was maneuvering through the tracking, so to speak, and then she felt more comfortable. Talk about that. What do you hear when I say that?
About comfort?
Yeah, like, she got comfort in literally watching me go through it first. Do you hear something? Did anybody hear something in that? Like, you don't think people...
They learn from other people's...
That's why we do this show.
Yeah, you learn from other people's mistakes or other people's successes or,
either
paving
one.
the way.
We should be learning from people's successes and failures.
Oh, absolutely.
So... Absolutely. The reason I took that as, and I told you I had a whole bunch of stuff today, like meat on the bone. Like, we might not get through all this because I can talk. I was up there, and my motto was I learned a lot about a lot. I learned a lot about myself up there, and it was a great time to recharge. But back to the story with Lee is that sometimes people in life, like, they're not gonna go down that valley. They're gonna avoid it, go around it, turn around, and go back to their past, or they're gonna go through the valley because they just saw somebody that they trust. Sure. She trusts me, so she let me go. And mind you, I went slow. I'm like literally showing her where she should, take her ATV. Don't go this way, turn here, go around this rock, whatever. And then she was better for it. She felt more comfortable. So talk about that. I mean, as y'all parents, you have to see that they're watching you. Of
course.
And they're seeing how you maneuver. What do you think about that?
I think there's a lot of truth to that. I mean, especially in how you bring it back to being a parent. So I have high functioning anxiety, right? My daughter at 5 years old, the same, okay? But I know now, when I was a kid, we didn't talk about that. Like, it wasn't anything, I don't even think my parents even realized what it was, but everything had to be a certain way, and if it didn't, I would, like, have these tantrums, right? These things had to be in order, and so it wasn't addressed because it wasn't, I don't know if they just didn't know or people just didn't talk about stuff like that.
You mean
my parents. So now that I realize what it was or what it is, my daughter's the same exact way. I'm able to guide her. I'm able to, like, let's cope with this. Let's take a deep breath. Let's sit down. Let's think about it. It's not that big of a deal. You know what I mean? So as a parent, I can totally see that because I don't want her to deal with the things that I had to deal with on my own and figure out.
What does that look like at that young of an age? Because, I mean, I just can't even imagine, like.
It's very, she likes things a certain way, right? So if, like, let's just say her babies, her stuffed animals, right? If they are not a certain way, she has a meltdown. Like, they have to be
lined up.
Yes, very organized, very, in place, sitting a certain way. And if they're not, if one is off, and I'm like, all right, let's go. She won't rest until it's right. And she gets, like, very upset if I'm like, we got to go. And she's like, no, Mom, it has. Or if she can't find a toy that she's looking for.
How old is she?
5.
Wow.
So
when that happens, how do you deal with that?
Well, the first thing I try to assure is that it's okay. It's not that big of a deal, right? To let her realize that it's a small thing in the grand scheme, right? Which I know she doesn't understand right now. But trying to plant those seeds so that when she gets older, she can cope with them.
I'll play devil's advocate in that.
Yeah.
And not, I'm not trying to tell you how to parent or nothing. Yeah. But it's like, change the verbiage in that. Like, stop at it's okay.
Yeah.
Because when you say it's not that big of a deal, you're telling her what is not a big deal to her.
To her, exactly.
Because she obviously feels that.
That it's huge. I mean? Yeah, it's monumental. It's like
right.
her whole day is like
so,
over.
Mom, don't tell me it doesn't matter because it does obviously to her, right? And so, and I think we do that with a lot of people. Like,
right.
Like, you know, this is.
And it kind of seems like maybe discounting.
Right.
How they feel. Yeah, because we don't. Yeah, no, you're right.
It's not a big deal to me. Why is it a big deal to you?
Yeah, no, I see that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and it's like, especially, you know, I think men, and I think it's Men's Health Month or something like that. I think I read something. Elliot, check me on that.
I think that was like last month. Maybe the month before.
Might have been last month. Can we get 2 months? Can we get 2 months?
But nonetheless, this year we had men's mental health.
We did have men's mental health. So next year when we do a shout out, we know what month to get it right. No, but I just think we discount people's feelings. And I'm really gonna start getting into my life a little bit more. But like
for your situation too, though. For your situation as well, you know, if you would have told. I'm not sure the young lady, like, it's not that big of a deal. Just go.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Then she probably wouldn't have been as receptive or as willing to try it. So. And
I think that's why she trusts him. She knows I got her back.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not here to judge you because I think this is not scary.
Yeah.
But you are fearful beyond what I can even imagine.
Yeah.
So let me support you.
It was so real to her. Yeah.
It was.
It was so real to her.
And she and her mom was riding on the back with her. They were on the same ATV. And she was like, if it wasn't for you, Mark, and my mom coaching me through it, I wouldn't have got through it.
Yeah.
And we need to do that each other for more people. Let's listen. Let's try to understand what they're feeling. And then let's help them. We too many times, and Bailey could touch on this maybe, I think too many times we're just like, okay, that's not a big deal to me, or I wouldn't react like that. They're overreacting.
Which, I mean, I think it's still technically valid because if you've been through that situation once, twice, whatever, it's not a big deal to you. That's not a bad feeling for you to have. But like you said, you can't impose that on somebody else who hasn't been through that. But I would say that you can confirm that once they've gotten through it and say, hey, it wasn't that bad now, was it? You know what I'm saying? Just being a leader and letting them know, like, now you've been through that, you're gonna be okay, and it wasn't that big of a deal.
Yeah.
You don't have to react like that in a situation anymore because you've been through it.
Exactly. But going through it is always going through it's gonna help more than not going through it more often than not.
Right.
And now there's certain situations in life I believe in that because there's gonna be times where you probably have to go through it. Like something like that. That was like more of a physical fear, I'm sure. Like the deepness of it.
Yeah.
But because I truly believe if we share life experiences, we come on a show and we talk about life experiences and we help people, somebody's listening that's going through something that we're helping, right? So they're maybe learning before they actually go through it. Where there's times where, you know what, the best thing for you is to go through it. You know, but I don't always think that's always the case because I think if you're not learning from people's mistakes or triumphs, you're not a very smart person. You know, you should change your perspective because you should be learning all the time. Right? Cool. Any questions?
No, it's good, Mark.
No,
it's good stuff.
So I mean, I was just up there, and I'm in a pool. And outside the view is just nothing but mountains, right? And we're in the pool and we're talking. And shout out to my best friend's dad. He's an OG. Trinidad Tobago. I mean, just it's like this old, not old. He is older, but he look about. I think
choose your words wisely.
No. I told him I told my best friend and her sister now I was gonna bring them up on the show because I had such a good time with them. We had such great conversation, and I learned a lot from her dad. And when the trip was over, he told me something. He said, "Hey, man, you're a really good guy, but just be careful." And I was like, this is like, where does this come from? Like, what do you mean? He's like, and he said, you gotta take care of yourself first. You can't take care of everybody. And I get lost so much in trying to take care of everybody that sometimes I don't take care of myself. And that's what I wanted to talk about. It starts with you, and I kind of made this up yesterday. You know, the whole saying is it takes a village, right? Mm-hmm. Well, you can't save a village if you can't take care of your own TP. Like, I'm out there in the wilderness. You know, we talked about, you know, natives are out there and stuff. And it was actually crazy. You know, I got gout, and we're riding, and the guy stops us, and he starts showing us some plants. He's like, everything out here in the desert has a purpose. Mm-hmm. And he's like, this plant, the natives use to cure gout. I snatched that thing up, put it in my pocket. It's like some tree, and I need to look at the name up. I have some, and you like supposed to like obviously clean it, but you make like hot tea out of it, and you're supposed to drink it. It's supposed to help. And I'm like, shoot. Shoot.
What other native remedies do they have out there?
I can think of a few.
Can't talk about that. This is a family show podcast. Try Jesus. That's my go-to right there. Try Jesus. Don't try.
But I would piggyback up what you said. We took a first aid class before we had Jules, because Mo was like tripping out about having a kid and her safety.
Tripping out about having kids.
I was discounting her emotions.
There you go.
But I'm grown since then. But they did talk about the guy was really good, the instructor, and he was talking about, he would ask us like random questions, and one he was like, so when you're on an airplane, why do you think they tell you to put your mask on first? And everyone's like, isn't it the first aid class? Like, we should talk about like cuts and burns or like trips and falls, whatever. And anyway, nobody really got where he was going, but he was saying like, you can't save your child or anybody next to you unless you have the ability to do. Like, if you're dead, you can't save nobody.
Right.
So you need to put your mask on first, get your oxygen, and then help anybody around you that you can that's not able.
And I've thought that same thing when, you know, the flight attendant comes on. Sometimes they'll make a little joke about it, like, you know, same theory on there. You can't, but that's hard for me. Like, I'm driven through helping others. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm driven through having to provide or make people happy.
But you can't pour from an empty cup.
It's very true. That's why I want the Big Ben to refill.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But like,
no, but it's hard.
It is hard.
Coach somebody up that you would think that does that. Like, what could you do? Coach me up on, you know, I haven't listened to your last voice message. You know what I learned about your Big Ben trip? What?
That I'm genuinely concerned about you as a person. I'm like, where is this man at? Why isn't he answering his phone? For real. Like, is he okay? What are we search rescue team? Like, what are we doing right now?
I thought I told you I was going.
Yeah, but then I saw Janelle and I'm like, I guess he went to Houston. I don't know. No. But then you didn't answer either.
Yeah, I'm like
you out of town work?
Man, check this out. I really tried to unplug. One, the cell service was real spotty. They did have Wi-Fi, but listen, it was so hard. You know, I'm blessed right now. My business with real estate is amazing, overwhelming. I tell people all the time, there's like 45 clients and there's one of me. So I'm trying to do all this stuff. Yeah. And I thought they said we were going to have cell service up there. So I was like, you know, I can work from anywhere, you know. Mm-hmm. Well, it was so kind of in and out, blah, blah. It was frustrating. Like, my laptop was so slow. My texts were so slow, like in and out. So I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to enjoy this moment.
Yeah, no, you needed
it. So I really didn't look at my phone, but then I would look, and I think I kept showing Janelle and her family, like, look at this. And come in, I got up to like 76 missed text messages. And I was just like, I was feeling it. And it was like, really, I had to tell myself, what you going to do? You going to worry about it or you not?
Can't do anything about it.
And I'm like, I'm in the middle of these damn mountains.
Yeah.
I'm trying to work, but it's not really working.
It'll still be there tomorrow.
Yeah, and, you know, I had a couple of upset clients, and I understand, but nobody lost a house over it. Nobody lost a deal over it, you know, and in retrospect, I'm like, you know what? I'm glad I disconnected. I'm really glad I disconnected.
I think to kind of touch back on what you were saying, I think you have to make time for yourself intentional. You know, so whatever it is that you feel that you can refill your cup or just pour back into yourself, it has to be intentional.
Yeah.
You know, for relationships in general. So that's a relationship with yourself. I'm sure Bailey's heard this before too. When you're in a marriage or things like that, you have to set time aside for each other. And sometimes it has to be as a matter of writing it down on a calendar. We will have a date today, or we will have a movie time today. Because life gets so busy and passes you by that if you don't make those things intentional, those relationships suffer. Yeah. So your relationship with yourself starts to suffer. You know what I mean? So it has to be intentional. You have to pour into yourself one way or another. And make it a date with yourself, you know?
No, honestly, and you're 100% right. Going back to me is like, when I was consistent with you for that 3-4 month span, I never felt better. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't feel good right now.
Yeah.
Physically.
You know, yeah.
And I'm like, I'm feeling a little
you
like.
Look great.
Thank you. I'm feeling a little thick in my shirts. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, what shirt am I wearing? Nah, I'm really
back on that, huh?
I'm back on the whole look. Remember we talked about Corey that first episode?
Yeah.
I was like, it's because I know I was feeling tighter and better when I was consistent. But yeah, man, it was a good trip. But he told me, you know, and I know that was a lesson I had to walk away with was, man, take care of yourself. And I want to get into this, like, in order to take care of a village, you know, first you got to build yourself up, right? And while you're doing that, while you're taking that road, you know, for me, it's all about breaking generational curses in my family and in the world. Mm-hmm. And in order for me to get there, I got to do me first. I got to take care of me first, right? Of
course.
And then once you do that, you can build others up. Family, peers, friends. Like for me, it was a big thing. I had an epiphany with Steven. We're in the pool. You know me, I word things the worst way sometimes. Don't look down.
What?
What do you always say?
I don't know.
You're like, it's not your delivery.
Yeah, it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
It's so funny because we're in the pool and me and Steven are kind of having this moment. My cousin is like, I'm so excited that he shared this with me. Mm-hmm. And I was basically trying to say, like, I'm just glad you're here with me to see this. Mm-hmm. What I said was, you probably would have never seen this if it wasn't for me.
Yeah, those are. I know what you mean.
Oh my God, I'm not like Steven's where the camera's at in the pool. I'm here. Janelle and her sister like sunbathing right here to the right, and all I hear is ooh,
like the record scratch.
Yeah, like ooh, and I was like, what? Like, I was like,
not the best choice of words.
Sir. What? He understands what I'm saying. And,
but does he?
And I think he did. We talked about it afterwards, but
so he didn't understand. That 6-hour drive was
Steven, I don't know if you watched it, Steven. Let me know if you understood. But and this is what I told them. I was like, my intentions are always pure. That's what allows me to sleep well at night. Yeah. My intentions for people are always pure. My intention for trying that moment, again, my words were probably bad or were bad. Mm-hmm. But what I was saying is like, I'm glad I was able to show you something because maybe this will light a fire for your purpose to want you to see and do more of these things.
You know what? This is kind of like a tangent, but he has opened up to me in the past month and a half or whatever. And he let me know like how he would look up to us within Duville, and it was like we always kick it with him and mm-hmm. hang out or whatever. But I would have never expected him to actually say something like that, which shows a lot of growth within himself.
He's growing,
he's sure. Growing. And he's had tragedy, and he's even admitted that tragedy has really it's helped him like boost his whole life in general. Like it really was a very positive thing out of a terrible situation for him.
And not to put out anybody's business, but he when everybody else was hurting, he was hurting, but he was like, man, this is my opportunity.
He literally said, this is my time. Like, it's my time.
And that's tough. Like, I don't know. I guess we can, we're going to grow the show. Sometimes we got to share life experiences. He grew up taking care of my uncle. My uncle was sick and in a wheelchair, and Steven was, Steven was a kid. Steven only knew my uncle in a wheelchair. That's it. We knew my uncle as like this guy that run around. My uncle, Steven, his perspective was like, I've never seen him like that. Yeah. And his whole job for a long, long time was to help. I mean, obviously, there's his other brothers and sisters help. His mother, obviously.
But he was the main one.
Yeah, he was picking him up. Like, he was the only one that could pick him up and put him in a wheelchair. And, like, think about how hard that has to be to see, your father pass away. Yeah. And then also think at the same time, now I get to grow. Oh, man, that's tough. And he's opened up to me also, and he's going to be like, man, you just sharing all that stuff. But I'm so proud of his growth. And when I say that, when you build with others, when you share experiences with others, you start to create, more leaders. I think ultimately the goal is to create leaders that can help spread this energy and this word. You know what I mean? So, and then lastly, once you build, leaders, then can you build with those other leaders. So I'm trying to build leaders. With Duville, I try to build leaders. With the Ravens, with teaching and coaching. Like, no matter what I've always tried to do, I try to build leaders. Yeah. And when you build more leaders, and especially when you do it wholeheartedly, you're going to be able to get way more in return. I have you guys working here. Basically, I haven't.
Working or
I was going to say. I feel
like I'm slaving.
I knew that was coming. Hey, he's like CJ. And you're a ground crew, ain't you? You're a ground crew?
No. I thought you were air traffic.
You're air traffic control or a pilot?
No, I was
maybe you're a grounds. I don't remember.
Whatever, make facilitating. That was what my thing was.
I think you were air traffic control. But he's like CJ. He's always bringing up like he's just focused. But what I was saying is that y'all are working for free. Except Elliot. Shout out Elliot gets paid. That's why he's buying all this nice equipment.
I don't feel like I'm working, if that makes you feel better.
I look forward to this. This is like my...
It doesn't make me feel better because you bring up not working. Okay, I'm like, try Jesus.
I'm just gonna
every time you
break you down, build you up.
Yeah, let me break you down and build you up. So I know I've kind of talked about a lot. Do you guys have anything right now that you kind of think of?
Man, I think she needs to be a 2-episode type of thing because
might spill over.
There's a lot left. No, I think that's good stuff. I mean, building yourself up. I'm a firm believer in that. Pouring into yourself. That's one of my things right now, and that's what I try to encourage, especially women, because I think as moms, wives, working, sometimes we lose ourselves. Because we're given to so many people in so many aspects.
Why gotta be men and women?
Well, because that's just for me. I can relate.
Oh, okay.
I can relate more.
I just want to make sure, man.
I can relate more. You know what I mean?
No, definitely.
That's
why I have you on the show
for women, right? So, big part of my fitness is one of the things that I try to teach from the beginning is like, you're worth it. It's a mindset. A mind shift. Like you are worth it. Pour into yourself. So yeah, I really like that. Building up more leaders, I think that's important too, because I feel like when we do that, not to say our workload is less, but it alleviates some things, right? Because now we have more people that can do things that maybe we used to take on ourselves, right? And so that workload, not necessarily workload, I don't know if that's the best word, but that becomes a little less, right? That we have a little more room to breathe. So when you create more people like yourself or more mindsets that are going out there, it's just, I feel like you function.
And let me ask you this. Where did you start realizing that? Like you had to have grown and your circle had to have changed.
Yeah.
Started to change for you to even see that. Like you said earlier, for the first time people are telling you no.
Yeah.
And sometimes no is good.
For sure. I've never really had that. I think it just got to a point for me where I was just losing myself, in just life and in a relationship. And sometimes you have to let things die, as hard as it may be.
Yeah.
In order to grow, like perfect, you have to let things die. And so when I
know some people going through it that,
it's not easy.
Oh,
it's
no.
hard.
It's very hard.
Death and severing ties and it's painful. It's painful,
But you got to choose your pain, right?
You have to choose your pain.
You know what I mean? Like, do you want to stay in the consistency of toxicity.
And that's what it was. It was a matter of choosing, am I going to have this short-term pain, or is this going to be a long, slow death? You know what I mean?
No,
am I going to stay tied to these things that, I could stay tied to, but I'm slowly going to die, right? So dragging out the pain, which is, at that point, it's just self-inflicting pain.
It's like death by 1,000 cuts type of thing.
Exactly.
Right?
Or am I just going to do it here, know it's going to hurt, and then just deal with it and move on.
Let me ask you this, Bailey. Do you ever find yourself making the same mistakes over?
It doesn't happen very often, and when it does, I get so pissed at myself that I allowed that to happen because I know better. And
why do you say it doesn't happen that often? Like, what helps you have that be few and far between?
Those few times that it does happen, it's pretty bad and frustrating, and I hate that feeling of that situation. Mm-hmm. So I will do whatever I can to avoid that or control that or maneuver so not to go into that. But sometimes it's one of those things where it might be unavoidable. Like you can try all you want to not be in a bad situation, but when that's put on your table and you just got to eat it sometimes, you got to eat it fast too. Because you don't want to drag it out. You know what I'm saying?
I get frustrated. I mean, there's lots of times I've made the same mistake. And I'm like, come on,
it's going to be okay, dog.
Come on. Okay, that's the last
time.
So
the same mistake. So you've made the same mistake multiple times. Is that what you're saying?
There's very few mistakes, like Bailey said, that I make over and over again.
Yeah.
But we all have weaknesses.
Sure.
And, man, you want to talk about getting pissed.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
When is it going to change?
So okay. So I'm going to touch on that a little bit. So recently, within the last year or so, I've stopped drinking, right? Okay. I had this conversation actually with your sister because we were talking about certain things. And
I don't bring my family to this.
I love your sister. But I was just saying.
Just talk about my family the whole time.
I was just saying that I, for myself, know that in this season, I cannot let my guard down, right? I'm in a place of protecting myself, my peace, my soul, at whatever expense. So I also know myself, when I drink, that doesn't always allow me to make the best judgment, right? So knowing myself, I had to eliminate, which was hard for me, right? Because I come from a family of drinkers.
As do I.
And so I had to cut that out because I knew that one thing could cause me to make a huge mistake. Mm-hmm. And it could cause me to think, you know what I mean? So I know what you mean. So what I'm saying is that whatever that thing that's causing you to make these mistakes or allowing room, cut it off. It's not, you know what I mean? Cut it off. As hard as it may be, as challenging as it may be, the clarity that comes with it, I want to be in control of every situation at all times. And so when I'm in that intoxicated state, I'm not in control.
I mean, we're talking about it now. This is a real deal to a lot of people. You know, I mean.
But when you drink, I mean, this is just overall, it's typically to mask some sort of pain or situation.
And that's what it is.
You've learned how to cope without you've already treated the problem. Drinking it would just treat a symptom.
Exactly.
So whenever you can really dig
you
deep
know,
and find out what's really causing whatever vice you have, then you
I know what's causing the pain.
We know.
I know it's causing the pain.
But so what other outlets are there? So that's kind of, to me, when I started just turning into fitness and turning positive outlets, right? Meeting with different people that weren't drinkers, stop hanging out. I mean, I've lost a lot of friends in the last year. And I'm not saying lost them in the sense that we're not friends, we're not cool. Yeah. But like, I just don't even entertain certain things anymore, right? And it's hard, you know, and I know that they feel a certain type of way about me now because I'm not a part of certain things, right? And that hurts. Mm-hmm. But I just couldn't allow myself to be in that for their satisfaction.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I did that for too long, and so it just.
I'm such a people person that's a struggle for me.
Yeah.
It's a struggle for me to cut people off. Like, I mean, there's
But you can love people from a distance. But when it starts interfering with your own growth or setting you back or hindering you, you know, it's you or them. You know, and that's at the end of the day, that's how I look at it.
I think about Duville when I think of sometimes things like that. I think about particular people that I've helped. You know who I'm talking about. That have, I mean, I had to sell my house because of Duville. You know, it was a part of it. Obviously, my taxes went up, and it was like my realtor was trash. I ain't gonna say your name because I ain't gonna plug you, but you were trash, and I didn't know about taxes and escrow, and all of a sudden my mortgage is $650 more a month, and I'm like, I'm a teacher, bro. I might as well be on unemployment. I mean, welfare because my fixed income, like you know. But I was saying that. Why was I saying that? Like, and then Duville, you know, that took up a lot of my money. And I'm just a teacher again, you know. But I was so hell-bent on helping other people be their best that I literally put myself in a position not to be my best.
I did the same.
I think it's hard, man, because I had a situation at work recently where I was, like, really questioning, like, where do you find the balance between doing what's best for you but still being good to people?
Balance.
Like, that's, man, like, it really put me in, like, deep thought. Like, man, I don't know, like, am I just being ignorant to thinking that this person should be more aware of the people around them, or is it ultimately, like, it's you against the world? Like, it's tough.
And it is tough because you have to realize that not everybody's you. You know, and that's a hard thing because I think we think like, well, they're like me, you know, they would do the same for me. But at the end of the day, would they?
Right.
You know, and it's a hard lesson learned. I mean, with Duville, financial setback, I'm sure. And then it's hard to take things not personally, right? Because at that point it is. And we'll kind of talk about it here because we're in a safe place. But that's kind of my thing with first, you know, with our business, you know, at one point, I poured and I poured and I poured and I poured, and I won't go into all that.
And tatted.
Yeah, I'm getting it fixed. You know, time wise, financially wise, and at some point, it's hard not to feel burned because you're doing it from the goodness of your heart, right? But not everybody's you.
I've seen like a meme or something that's like, man, if we protect our energy the way if we protect our energy the same way we protect our cell phone battery,
shoot.
It's true.
You know what I mean? Like, okay.
Or if we charge we charge ourselves as much as we
recharge yourself, right? That's a life lesson. But we will be like, oh, I'm not about to be on the internet because I only got 2% left.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not going to be watching nobody's news feed because I only have 5% left. And I know the internet's going to eat more of my battery.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm going to take text and calls. I'm going to keep it real basic. I'm going to simplify it.
Keep it on power save.
I'm going to simplify my life and focus on calls and texts just for right now.
Shit, I thought about getting a flip phone many a times.
Oh, girls, talk about it. You know what I mean? I'm page me.
You know what I mean? Just to kind of, because you
have to protect our energy.
It sucks.
Literally, it sucks the energy out of you.
It does. It really does.
So
if you let it.
Tough.
If you let it.
Yeah, and that's what Janelle's dad basically. The life lesson he gave me.
Dang, I forgot how this whole thing started.
That's how it all started because he was like, "You're a great man, but I learned a long time ago you gotta take care of yourself first, before you can take care of everybody else." And I mean, we're saying bye, and like, you know, he comes up to me. You know, obviously he's my best friend's father, and this family that I really care about. They're an amazing family. For you know, I kind of crashed their party, so to speak. Then I brought my cousin, self-invited myself, but that was the beauty of, like I said, I learned a lot about a lot up there. So that was my Big Bend trip.
I like it. Good stuff. So basically, you're saying we're taking a trip to Big Bend soon.
Oh, I will definitely.
That's what I got from this conversation.
Take the show on the road.
I would definitely. We're gonna take the show on the road. I would definitely go back.
It looked really nice, though. It looked.
It was
that
beautiful.
an Airbnb that y'all were in, or what was it? Was it a?
We're not gonna talk about where we're at.
Okay.
Because
all right, cool.
we got some big moves we're gonna make. We can't disclose our location and stuff like that.
What was it? Airbnb?
No, it was
okay.
We just camped in the rocks, and
Fair
we dug a pool.
Fair enough.
Okay.
That pool looked nice.
Oh yeah, it was
super nice.
That was a lot of work we had to do
Yeah.
for that. Yeah,
In one weekend.
In one weekend.
Yeah, actually like 2 days. Yeah, so, Ellie, what time are we at, Ellie?
I feel like we're like at an hour already. Woo.
54. Okay, we're doing good.
Doing good. How long is this show?
Do we wanna? How much time we wanna go? Shoot, we just halfway through.
I think though, what's going through? I think that should be the start of our next topic. Starting over.
Yeah.
Okay, well let me just talk about this. Smell the steak. So I was listening to ET's podcast the other day, and they were talking about this A5 steak. You ever heard of an A5 steak? You've heard of it? Well, you probably heard the show. Okay, so A5 steak apparently is like the best steak, and it's not everywhere. It's like better than Wagyu, whatever that is.
Yeah, I was going to say, is it Wagyu?
It's better than it.
Oh, okay. Shoot.
And apparently, not everybody has this A5 steak.
Okay.
And it's the best steak, and they were staying at a hotel, I think in Florida, and they were working so much that there's a steakhouse in the hotel. And he was like, Jamal King was like, I'm gonna go look at the menu. I want to see, what the menu looks like. And he's like, they got an A5 steak on the menu. So they're big steak guys. So CJ and Jamal were like, man, we've been literally sleeping on this A5. We always looking for a place that has A5, and it was right under our
right under your nose.
Right under your nose, so to speak. Well, they were talking about the door guy let him in every day, and was just like, oh, the steakhouse is the best, blah, blah, blah. And they asked him, well, have you eaten there? He's like, oh, me? No, I can't afford that. Like, no. He's like, man, like this dude's literally 10 feet away, like the restaurant's 10 feet away from the door. This guy can smell the steak every day, can talk about the steak, talk about it's the best restaurant, but he's never experienced it himself because he can't afford it. But he has like this attitude and this A1 attitude about being who he is. And I think a lot of us, man, we complain about life, we complain about our jobs, we complain about the things that we do, and we just don't take it. I met a parking lot attendant the other day. I was downtown, and we parked, and this dude was like, his energy was ridiculous.
Next level.
Oh, man, he's like, hey, sir, how you doing? Hey, check this out. Hey, when you come out, you might want to go through this lane because it's a little better for the trucks. You got a little more room. Park on the 6th floor. You're going to come out, put the ticket, da-da-da. And he was just like, his energy was just so amazing. I'm just like, dang, bro, I'm just parking. Like, it's just a parking garage. Relax.
Yeah.
But this dude took his job so serious, and he was just like, oh, I love this. I love meeting people, and I just want regulars. I just want regulars to come back. And it's like, regulars? Like, think about this. I'm like, man, this dude should be selling some real estate or maybe something because his attitude is so good. And he was just genuine. And people would complain about their jobs, and dude's a parking lot attendant, and not to say that's not a great thing for him, but it's like he's taking whatever his job is, his whatever hourly he's getting paid, and he doesn't care.
Yeah.
He's doing it with so much pride, passion, and commitment, and we want things returned back to us with not doing no work.
Yeah.
Right.
We don't want to put in the pride, commitment to our job, to our career, to our entrepreneurship, but we want that reward.
Yeah.
I tipped the dude. Like, I tipped him. I was like, man, here's a 20, bro. I mean, I paid the ticket, and then I gave him a 20.
It's just humbling, right? It's humbling. It's kind of a self-check.
He didn't want to take it.
You know?
He didn't want to take it. And I'm like, oh, no, you taking this.
Yeah.
Your attitude it should be shared with the world. And I'm thinking about, man, this dude just a parking lot attendant, but he's brightening people's day every day.
Yeah.
every time he gets a chance, he has such a good attitude, and you just don't know how many people he's helping.
Yeah.
You know, and I think if we can take that outlook on life, people need to take that outlook on life and say, no matter what I'm doing, I'm going to do it 100%.
Right.
I'm going to do it with so much passion and commitment that I'm going to bless other people.
With a positive attitude.
And it doesn't, sometimes it's not always money. And back to the Jamal King story, they had to leave so they couldn't eat the steak. But once he found out that dude never ate there and couldn't afford it, Jamal King went and got a gift card. And I think he gave like $250 for him and his family to eat. And then the moral of the story is like, man, he thanked them, and he told him, hey, he asked him for his name. And Jamal King obviously gave it to him. He's like, at home, we have a prayer list, and we pray for people. So he's like, just know if I never meet you again, you're being prayed for. And man, that's such a blessing. All because he saw someone with so much passion, and that's what I tried to do, and it's kind of a relatable story with the parking lot attendant. Maybe that $20 went a long way for him. Yeah. You know, I know that gift card probably went a long way for that doorman, because he's able to now treat his family to something they would have never experienced before.
That's good.
And that's kind of what I got with, my cousin Steven, and that's kind of what I was meant to say when I'm like, right. You experiencing something you would have never experienced, But I don't do that because I want to be patted on the back. I'm doing that because I'm trying to show you, I'm trying to get you to smell the steak.
Yeah, for sure.
I want Steven to smell the steak. And hopefully that motivates him to do greater things, to be motivated to do greater things for himself, for sure. and whoever his family becomes. So, man, I know I talked a lot this episode.
It's good stuff, though. It's good stuff.
It was good, and I mean, I feel like my bishop, like, I'm just in the intro, like Bishop preaching good word.
We ain't doing no 5-hour sermon today.
Every pastor in the world
started.
Every pastor in the world be like, I'm just getting started. I just got through my notes. I ain't got through my notes yet.
Church comes all day.
Yes. So I do want to say before we start, and we'll get on this other stuff, but I do want to talk about starting over for a little bit. Start over as many times as it takes.
Yeah.
Touch on that, Bailey. Start over as many times as it takes.
Well, I mean, that goes back to the whole self-care topic that we talked about. I mean, if you have to start over for yourself to be in a better situation, I mean, you have to. And it doesn't, like you said, it doesn't matter how many times you do it, because people are constantly reinventing themselves, trying to figure things out. Like one of our good friends, AC, man, that dude's been in every business under the sun. And it's like from the
AC probably made these microphones, these new mics that we got.
He's a great dude, but he's dabbled in just about everything, and we've known him for years. And I've been thinking, like, man, this dude, he'll approach me all the time. Hey, man, I'm doing this. You should look into it. I'm like, how many things can this guy get into? I recently had a really deep conversation with him about him really searching for his purpose and his passion. And I was like, that's it. No wonder why he does all this stuff. And he said, like, I'm trying to find my purpose. So whatever I have to do, if that opportunity comes up, I'm going to try it, because that might be the thing for me. I was like, man, I never would have gotten that. I was just looking at it from an outsider's perspective, like, this dude's doing another thing, another gimmick, another business, whatever.
Ooh, that's good.
Now I truly, like, see and, like, I respect that. Like, he wants to risk it all to start over.
That's so good for
himself.
You. But that's good for you to hear, because someone that I know like yourself is searching for your purpose, searching to find your niche. To hear why someone else is doing it should help you. Right. And that's why y'all are connected. Y'all are connected because there's a reason why y'all call paths, because you're trying to go through the same thing. Again, you just thought, like, this dude's, just jumping from one thing to another from one thing. He don't know what he want to do.
Right.
Neither do you.
Right.
So why aren't you jumping from thing to thing? Because you're staying in your spot that's consistent, that's making great money for your family. I'm not saying don't leave that, because that's important to you.
Right.
But you got a guy has you got more kids than you.
Sure.
He married just like you.
And he's living well with all the things that he's involved in.
But he's risking it for the biscuit, so to speak.
Yeah.
and you're not. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to get on you, but it's like
everybody's different. You know what I mean?
Oh no, absolutely. But that's the, and I know I can talk to him like this.
Yeah.
That's the growth that I'm sure he gonna take that from AC.
Yeah, I mean, trust me, I've thought about that too. Like, man, if this dude can do it, what's stopping me? He's still alive. He's still doing it. His livelihood is where it's at.
I mean, we talk about the penny stock thing, man. I think we both fallen off from that. Sorry, LaRon. Shout out LaRon, my guy. Penny stock guru, but
I know I need to get back on.
Damn, I got started getting on that book, and then life starts happening, and it's like I see my E-Trade doing well, and then it's like, okay, well, let me get back to this real estate, and then it's like, I'm like, dang, man, I haven't really focused on that.
Yeah.
You know, so, Sarda, you got anything else from that? Sorry.
No, that's good. That's good. I mean, you do have to start over. But
start over. Can I start over this week?
Yeah, you have to have grace, but it's you do have to have grace with yourself, and I do believe in starting over. However, you know, you have to move forward. You at some point you got to get tired of your own shit and be like, I got, you know, I can't.
You always got to be the first.
I'm sorry. It's part of my vocabulary. It shows a sign of intelligence.
I think how many times do you go back to your old self? And like for me, with the workout thing with you, is I don't want to go back to my old self.
Yeah.
Like the cool thing is now we'll pick up tomorrow, and I'm gonna be ahead of where I started last time.
That's right. You're always gonna be a little bit further along, right?
I mean, we started on bands, girl.
I know.
I can go back tomorrow and put some 20s on the dumbbells. You know what I'm saying?
This is true.
You know what I'm saying? I say 20s like it's big time, right?
No, but your growth.
To me.
But your growth. I mean, even just, you know, it's exciting to watch it. You know, and be a part of that journey. And
I know it's important to you because. And I appreciate you staying on me. I get a little text talking about confirm my appointment. She all big time now.
Ballin'.
Trying to be consistent.
She big time. I'm like, listen,
it's because I was one of your first clients. Keep track.
I was one of your first clients. Don't hit me with no text. Look, just book me.
I think we talked about loyalty has an expiration date. So this whole I was one of the first clients.
I do it for you. Everybody else, I expect them to do it. I put your appointments in for you.
So that's why I'm like, okay, I appreciate that. Now I get texts telling me what my appointment is. I'm like, I ain't confirmed this. I ain't confirmed nor denied this right now.
You're on the schedule.
Yeah.
You never confirm.
So
just show up.
Start over as many times as it takes, and we are excited to start the show back over with season 2. Episode 1. Chalk Talk, the open playbook of life. Again, we want to thank our sponsor, Alternative Solar. Look, I feel like legit. I'm like leaning into the mic. You know what I'm saying, try Jesus, don't try me. Hey. Give me that auto tune.
Hey, I need to get some of that A5 steak though.
Oh my!
Look at all that marbling in there.
Ooh. And so apparently it's hard to get. Like it's not on everywhere. It's not on every menu.
That one says $364.99.
Everybody
that
gets.
That one says 1,000. That better be a whole cow.
Hey, live on the left side of the menu, baby.
Hey, left side of the menu. Everybody gets 1 ounce.
All 4 of us
we go in together.
We can cut that. No, but speaking of that, I thought I was big time. You know, I heard a podcast about A5. I just had my first tomahawk steak. Went to Fredericksburg with
tiramisu. Like, how was that your first time eating tiramisu?
I'm getting kind of boozy. But it was great because I never had those things.
It's great.
And it's another part of just realizing like my growth and kind of taking
and that left side of the menu.
That left side of the menu, like, oh man,
I like it.
But that tomahawk steak was like $50, and my guy Coach Rodriguez was on the way to the Airbnb with the Stone team, and he was like, I'm gonna stop at HEB, and we just had hot dogs and hamburgers, and I was like, man, bring me a steak. My fire is on. Like I was barbecuing. My fire was just getting good.
I'm back on the grill now?
I was back on the grill. Okay. And so I'm like, look, I'm not wasting this fire on just no hamburgers and hot dogs.
Coals are nice and white, ready to go.
Woo! Woo! He gets it. I mean, there's videos like, and that tomahawk steak, I'm saying I cooked that. Chef Ramsay was proud. Chef Ramsay, I'm a Hell's Kitchen guy.
Yeah.
Chef Ramsay would have walked that to the pass. I would have walked it to the pass with confidence. He cut that up and he'd be like, perfectly cooked. Perfectly, he would have said it. Perfectly cooked. So, Bailey, anything else before we leave? Ooh, execution. I didn't even see that.
Yeah, new shirt. I saw that.
New season.
Execution.
I like it.
Is key.
Execution is key.
We talk about setting goals, but unless you execute on those goals, what are you doing? You
exactly.
Gonna drive all the way down the field and get stopped at the one? Gotta execute.
Don't bring up sophomore year in high school.
Executes, right. Follow through.
Taff on the 1 yard line. We made shirts the next year to motivate us. The ref holding up his hands like this, and on the back it says committed, because we were this close, literally 1 yard from making the playoffs. So you're right. Get to the one and not getting 4 downs too, man. Coach Pullen, you could have called another play, but that's beside the point. I don't think Coach Pullen ever gonna watch this, so I'll be all right. So man, check out my guy Bailey's Instagram. Also, we want to kind of start plugging Self-Made. Is it selfmade.24?
Yeah.
So check him out on Instagram.
Self.made.
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 Say it again.
Self.made.24.
And then bloop. My man got the bloop. I got it. I already know he got it. Certified fit.
Certified.
Meal prep. Training.
Hey, I'm like your friend AC. I got all kinds of things working.
Hustles. Did you leave Roadhouse yet?
Nah, I'm working on it though.
Oh, dang. She got you Jamaican? How many jobs you got?
Hey, you gotta have 7 streams, bro.
7 streams. Yeah,
Coming
so
in.
shout out Picturesque Photo Booth.
I saw that.
Yeah, that's been
you did a show thing last night, right?
Yeah, we actually double booked last
Nice.
night. So that's the second weekend.
Growth.
Yeah, with the coronavirus kind of slowing down, people getting back to normalcy, and it's starting to book up. So I think it's been fun. My guy Elliot behind the camera, man. We really, really appreciate you stepping his game up.
Yeah,
stepping
like
our
this.
game
Our
up.
game
with
up,
the
that's
mics.
right.
Like the reason I blame Elliot for my singing, because these mics just made me feel like I'm about to be Drew Hill inside. And beauty wasn't, and like, you know what I mean? No?
Yeah, of course.
I feel like I'm in the booth.
Yo, I can't hear myself. Turn me up.
I can't hear myself.
Turn the bass line up.
Hey, cut. Let's redo that. Let's do that. No. I you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel now. So,
You gotta get some vocal lessons going.
Yeah.
no, we're gonna auto-tune this. About to be like Lil Weezy. Yeah, shout out. We're Grinding Never Stops on Instagram. If you're looking for any kind of video, audio editing, things like that, that's my guy.
Apparel.
Or apparel. Hey, I mean,
apparel.
his apparel's fire. It really is. I'm gonna start needing.
I like that it's so versatile. You know what I mean? Like there's
Yeah.
not just one. Like
Look
that
at
shirt
smile.
today.
Look at that
Like that
smile.
shirt today. Like you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
it's
I like it.
I need one of those shirts. Underdog, put it on the shirt, you know? So, again, we want to thank y'all. We're looking forward to season 2. We're going to kind of start stepping it up as far as more content that's relevant to life and try to help, people out. We still will have guests, but just to be transparent, booking a guest every week is tough. But shout out, we are going to kind of have a little bit of a spinoff. We will start going around interviewing people from all different walks of life and professions, presenting, maybe 10, 15-minute video, right, Elliot? And put out some content for those people that have different life experiences. So, again, we want to thank y'all for tuning in. Sorry we took a couple weeks off, but we back. Happy belated Father's Day to all you fathers out there. And man, don't get me on that topic. Like, why?
You want a kid?
I do want a kid, but why women? It's like like when women be like, it's Father's Day for me too. I'm like, come on, look, that's a fact.
Hey,
Edit
you opening
that.
the can. You better stop. You opening the can.
And don't even put that in. Bleep that out because that gonna get me in trouble. But yeah, shout out to everybody out there for listening. We hope we brought you some content. Again, shout out to our sponsor, Alternative Solar. Chalk Talk, the Open Playbook of Life, Season 2, Episode 1. We are out, and we'll see you next week.
Have a great week.
What's up, guys? The Real Estate Coach here, man. Just want to thank you guys for all the support. Chalk Talk, the Open Playbook of Life. Please like and subscribe on the YouTube Don't forget to hit the notification button so you can get updated on when we drop episodes. And also, if you're trying to catch up on the latest episodes, just go ahead and click right here and you'll see that. So again, we appreciate all the support. Leave some comments, anything that we can do to get better and provide you some topics for the show that'll help you. We're all about it. So remember, your gift plus your why equals your purpose.